Welcome to another video of my YouTube channel. I request you all to join my discussion, and if you are new to my channel, I request you to subscribe my channel, and if you have been watching as a non-subscriber, just stay as a viewer, I request you again to subscribe my channel. And if you think my videos are worth watching, please share among your friends and fellows. Here we go with the poem Weathers by Thomas Hardy. Here is a poem, the text, and I request you all to go through the text yourself, and I go with the summary. In the poem Weathers, Thomas Hardy says that he likes the spring season because the cuckoo, the nestlings and brown nightingales like it. It is the spring season when nestlings fly. It's the time for baby birds to fly, to use their wings. Though the weather is raining, the mood is influenced by the Englishman or New Englander is tempted to travel south and west. The poet says he does not like autumn because satyrs and rooks do not like beaches which look bare and ugly, twisting and bending in the violent storm, and the rivulets overflow, and drops on gate birds hang in a row as they are frozen. The mood of this fall or autumn weather makes the satyr reluctant to be outside, and like the rooks take shelter, the poet heads towards home. This slide will help you to know the meaning of each and every word in the text. Okay, let me go with the poem in Nepali. ऋतुहरू, टमस हाडी। कोहीले जसलाई मन पराउँछ यो यही मौसम हो, त्यसैले यसलाई मन पराउँछु म। जब झमझम वर्षा झुकाउँछन् चुच्चे पात चेस्टनटको, बचेराहरू मन पराउँछन् उड्न सिक्न। सानो खैरे जुरेली आनन्द साथ ठुङ लाग्छ आफूलाई। द ट्राभलर्स रेसको बाहिरपट्टि बसाली आफूलाई। बुट्टे पातलो वस्त्र लगाएर जब निकाल्छन् केटीहरू आफूलाई, त्यसै गर्न मन पराउँछु म। यो त्यही मौसम हो गोठालो जसलाई मन पराउन्न, त्यसैले यसलाई मन पराउँदिन म पनि। जब बीच रुखका पातहरू पहेँलिएर फुस्रिएर खस्छन्, रहन्छन् यताउति छिरल्ली, जब डाँडाले लुकाएका छालहरू हुर्रिँदै थर्काउँदै उर्लन्छन् बाढीहरू। मैदानी नदीहरू किनार नागेर बहन्छन्, मूलद्वारका डन्डीहरूमा बुँदहरू लहरै झुन्डिन्छन्। झुन्ड झुन्ड कौवाका परिवारहरू गुणतिर लाग्छन्, त्यसै गर्न चाहन्छु म पनि। ऋतुहरू शीर्षकको यो कविता मैले नेपालीमा अनुवाद गरेर यहाँलाई सुनाएँ। यो ऋतुहरूको शीर्षक कविता प्रकृति वर्णन सम्बन्धी कविता हो। बेलायती कवि टमस हाडीले रचना गरेको यो कविता विद्यालय र महाविद्यालयका पाठ्यक्रममा अक्सर समावेश भइरहने कृति। यो प्राय जसो कविले वसन्त ऋतुलाई मन पराउने र त्यसैको प्रशंसामा गीतहरू लेख्ने, कविताहरू रचना गर्ने। तर यहाँ कविले त्यही वसन्त ऋतुसँग शरद ऋतु अथवा हेमन्त ऋतुको तुलना गरेको छ। त्यहाँ चाहिँ बेग्लै खालको अनुभूति, काव्यात्मक अनुभूति गरेको चाहिँ यहाँ कविले वर्णन गरेका छन्। अब टमस हाडीले यो के भन्छ भने, कोइली चरी, बचेराहरू र बुलबुल जुरेलीले वसन्त ऋतु मन पराउने भएकोले उनलाई पनि यो मन पर्छ। तर उनलाई हेमन्त ऋतु जुन मन नपराउने कुराको खुलासा गर्छन्, किनकि भेडी गोठालाहरू र कौवाहरूले पनि यसलाई मन पराउँदैनन्। कविले वसन्त ऋतुलाई उसको रूप, ध्वनि र रङमा प्रस्तुत गर्छन्। कोइली, बचेराहरू र जुरेलीहरू यस्ता चराहरू हुन् जसले यस ऋतुमा वरिपरि देख्न र सुन्न सकिन्छ। रिमझिम वर्षाले सधैँ हरियो देखिने चेस्टनटका सुइरे पातहरूलाई झुगाइराख्छ। खैरे जुरेली त्यसबेला आफ्नो शरीरलाई ठुङ लगाउँछ र सारा मिठो मिठो धुनमा उसले गीत गाउने कोसिस गर्छ। तरुणीहरू आफ्ना बुट्टे मलमलका लुगा लगाएका देखिन्छन्। तन्नेरीहरू दक्षिण र पश्चिम जान उत्सुक र फुर्तिला देखिन्छन्। तर हेमन्त ऋतु नरमाइलो र निराशाजनक छ। बीच नामका रुखहरूको नाङ्गा र नराम्रा देखिन्छन्, कारण तिनीहरूका पातहरू पहेँलिएर झर्छन्। हुरी चल्छ, पात उडाउँछ। डाँडाले लुकाएका खहरीहरू झरीको कारण उर्लेर आउँछन् र नदी जुन मैदानमा बहने नदीहरूले मैदान ढाक्छन्। अब हिउँदको वर्षाको जस्तो चाहिँ बाढी डुबान अथवा बाढी पहिरो नभए पनि एउटा जाडोले झरी र जाडोले गर्दाखेरि मान्छेहरूलाई अलि दुःख दिन्छ। कवितामा 2 खण्डहरू छन् र हर खण्डमा 9 हरफहरू छन्, जसमा झर्रा शब्दहरू र ध्वन्यात्मक अनुप्रासात्मक शब्दहरू छन्। तिनी शब्दहरूले वसन्त र हेमन्त ऋतुको सही र स्पष्ट चित्र प्रस्तुत गर्छन्। पहिलो र तेस्रो हरफहरूमा लाइक्स स्पाइक शब्दहरूले अनुप्रास मिलाउँछन्। दोस्रो र चौथो 9औं हरफमा ल एल एफ एल वाइ फ्लाइ ल अनुप्रास ध्वन्यात्मक सिर्जना गर्छन् अथवा अनुप्रास अथवा ध्वन्यात्मकता सिर्जना गर्छन्। तर 5औं देखि 8औं हरफहरूमा बेस, रेस, ड्रेस र वेस्टमा टुङ्गिएर अनुप्रास मिलाउँछन्। त्यहाँ त्यस खालको अन्त्यानुप्रास हुन्छ। कविको प्रकृति वर्णन बडा रोचक छ। 2 ऋतुहरूको वर्णन तुलनात्मक रूपमा गरेर कविले विविधता नै प्रकृतिको विशेषता हो भन्ने कुरालाई प्रष्ट पार्न खोज्छन्। वसन्त ऋतुको सुन्दर मनमोहक क्षण हेमन्त ऋतुको निरस चिसो क्षणसँग तुलना गर्दै कविले ऋतु परिवर्तनसँगै मानिसका इच्छा, आकाङ्क्षा, चाहना परिवर्तन हुने कुरा प्रष्ट पार्छन्। जो वसन्त ऋतुमा घुमफिर गर्न मन पराउने मान्छेहरू हेमन्त ऋतुमा कोठाभित्र अथवा घरभित्र थन्किन खोज्दाखेरि त्यो बाहिरको समस्यासँग जुझ्न नसकेर भाग्न खोज्या हो कि कविले चाहिँ अब ती युवाहरू जुन अब दक्षिण र पश्चिमतिर घुम्न जान खोज्ने युवाहरू जुन वसन्त ऋतुमा तिनीहरू उत्साहित थिए, हिउँद ऋतुमा किन उनीहरू चाहिँ अन्त जान खोज्दैनन् त? गोठालाहरू किन चाहिँ भेडी गोठालाहरू भेडा चराउनुको सट्टा चाहिँ घरभित्र चाँडै नै चाहिँ बस्न चाहन्छन्? कारण के हो भने हेमन्त ऋतुको चिसो, कठाङ्ग्रिँदोपना, निरसता र चाहिँ दुःख वसन्त ऋतुमा हुँदैन। त्यो त्यति हुँदाहुँदै पनि अब त्यो बेलामा जुन एउटा अरू ऋतुहरूमा अक्सर बाहिर देखिने कौवाहरू यो ऋतुमा प्रायः जसो गुण खोजेर त्यहाँ न्यानोपनाको लागि चाहिँ गएको पाइन्छ। त्यसो भएको हुनाले यो हेमन्त ऋतुको निरसता र कठोरता अनि तिक्तताले मन नपराए जस्तै आफूले पनि नपराउने, तिनीहरूले गोठालालाई नै मन परेन, ती कौवाहरूलाई पनि मन परेन भने कविलाई किन मन पर्ने? कविले त हिउँद ऋतु पनि मन पराउन सक्थे नि त। हिउँदको विशेषता हेरेर पनि त मन पराउन सक्थे नि। सधैँ राम्रो चिज पाइन्छ, सधैँ मनोमोहक चिज पाइन्छ, सधैँ आरामदायी चिज पाइन्छ भन्ने त होइन नि। मानिसले प्रकृतिमा भएका सबै चिजहरूलाई चाहिँ अँगाल्न सक्नुपर्छ, त्यसलाई लिन सक्नुपर्छ र त्यसैमा एउटा रमाउन सक्नुपर्छ। तर यहाँ उनी रमाउनुको सट्टा भाग्न खोजेको जस्तो देखिन्छ। यो एउटा कविको निराशावाद हो कि कवि वृद्धावस्थामा उनले चाहिँ त्यो वृद्धावस्था मन नपराएको, बुढेसकाल भनेको हेमन्त ऋतु भनेको एउटा बुढेसकाल पनि हो। बुढेसकाल अब आएपछि म चाहिँ धेरै टिक्न सक्दिनँ, मेरो आयु पनि सकिन लाग्यो, अब म पनि एउटा आराम गर्नुपर्छ भनेर त्यता लागेको पनि हुनसक्छ। जे होस्, जाडो छल्न घरतिर जाने कविको कदम भगुवापनलाई प्रश्रय दिन्छ। त्यसले चाहिँ एउटा भगुवापनाको चाहिँ एउटा सन्दर्भ निकाल्छ। जे भए पनि कविले वसन्त ऋतु मन पराउँछन्, हेमन्त ऋतु मन पराउँदैनन्। उनलाई चाहिँ मधुरो प्रकाश, हिउँदको चिसो हैन, अनि हिउँदको ठन्डा, अनि सबै त्यो चिसोपना, अनि सबै त्यहाँको फुस्रोपना र निरसता उनलाई मन नपरेको हुनाले तुलनात्मक रूपमा पहिलोभन्दा दोस्रो एउटा भाग छ कविताको, त्यसमा चाहिँ उनले त्यो रुखहरूका पात उहिलेने, चिसो हावा बहने अनि झरी लाउने, झरीले खोलाहरू चाहिँ अब को किनारहरू ढाकेर चाहिँ त्यहाँ बेग्लै हिँड्ने, त्यस्तो झरी लाउने समयमा अनि त्यसपछि को बस्न खोज्छ त बाहिर? कुन भेडा बस्न चाहन्छन्, कुन भेडी गोठाले बस्न चाहन्छ र कुन कालो चराहरू कौवाहरू बस्न चाहन्छन् र चाहिँ कवि मन पराउने? हुन त कवि मानिस हो। मानिसले त आफ्नोलाई घर बनाएको छ, ऊ घरभित्र बस्न चाहन्छ। उसले भेडाहरूलाई चाहिँ बस्ने ठाउँ राखेको छ, तर कौवाहरूले त आफ्नै व्यवस्था गर्नु पर्यो नि त। हो, यस प्रकृति प्रेमी कवि को एउटा आशा र निराशा बीचको एउटा मानसिक द्वन्द्व, खुसी र दुखी, सुख दुःखको चाहिँ खालको चाहिँ सन्तुलन यो कवितामा पाइन्छ। जस अघिल्लो कवितामा अघिल्लो भागमा उत्साहित भएको कवि दोस्रो भागमा अलि निरुत्साहित देखिन्छ। त्यो के हो त भन्दाखेरि जिन्दगीका सुरुवाती क्षणहरूमा वयसका दिनहरूमा मान्छे जति उत्साहित हुन्छ बुढेसकालमा ऊ त्यति हुन सक्दैन। बुढेसकालमा उसले चाहिँ सबै लत छोड्न सक्छ, उसले हिम्मत हार्न सक्छ। त्यो भएर कविले हिम्मत हारेर चाहिँ घरभित्र बस्न गएको हो कि त्यस्तो त हुनु नपर्ने, तर एक खालको निराशावादी एउटा भाव चाहिँ यहाँ झल्किन्छ। ओके, द्याट्स द डिस्कसन अफ दिस वेदर्स इन नेपाली. नाउ लेट्स गो विथ appreciation. In this poem entitled Weathers, Thomas Hardy says that he likes the spring season because the cuckoo, nestlings and brown nightingale like it. But he does not like autumn because shepherds and rooks do not like. The poet presents the spring in its form, sound and color. The cuckoo, nestlings and nightingales are the birds which we can see in the season. The showers betumble the evergreen chestnut spikes. Our brown nightingale builds his best. The maids are seen in the sprig muslin dressed. The young people look eager and energetic to travel to the south and west, but the autumn is unpleasant and disappointing. The beeches are bare and ugly because their leaves drip in brown and downs. The storms thresh and fly. The hilly tides throw and throw. The rivulets overflow the meadow. The poem has two parts of 9 lines each, in which the words are colloquial and onomatopoeic. They present real and stark picture of spring and autumn seasons. The first and the third lines rhyme as likes and spikes. So do the second, fourth and 9 ending in L, FLY, la. Then the lines from 5th to 6th rhyme ending in base, rest, dressed and west. Thomas Hardy writes a lot about weather in this poetry. The contrast between spring and autumn in these two stanzas is beautifully done, connecting the natural run of the seasons with the human and animal needs. The poem is about good and bad weather in 2 verses. The first verse describes good weather and the second stanza describes unpleasant weather, that is autumn. The pleasant weather is weather the cuckoo likes. The cuckoo is a bird that can be seen in England in the spring and summer. Nightingale is another singing bird seen during the spring. It's lovely to see the nestlings fly in this season. Rook is other species of birds seen in the autumn mentioned in the poem. This poem, Weathers by Thomas Hardy, captures his description of the mood and feeling of 2 seasons, spring and autumn. In the first stanza, Hardy pictures spring, perhaps month of May, when the great white candles or horse chestnut trees are flowering. Baby birds are leaving the nest and trying their wings. Nightingales sing and everyone is heading outside. The singing, the nightingale, and the feeling of joy in people as spring comes, announcing the end of winter, creates an excitement in natural world that is shared by the narrator. In the first stanza, the rain is welcomed by the cuckoo, the narrator, and the little brown nightingale. He writes as if he is speaking directly to the reader, showing the reader what he can see and hear. This is, and so do I. In this depiction of rainstorm, wind showers betumble the chestnut spikes and nestlings fly. People gather outside, and in call the travelers rest, and young women emerge in pretty spring dresses. Spring muslin dress. We can picture the teenaged girls showing up in their light cotton muslin dresses, printed with clusters of flowers. This is a pleasant, happy scene, and both the people and the narrator or poet himself dream of trips to the south and west of England. Hardy, in the second half or second verse, describes utterly opposite season from the spring. The second season is autumn here, which the shepherd sons, that means he dislikes, he doesn't like. This is when beaches drip in browns and dawns, and birds such as rooks, in an attempt to escape the bad weather, homeward go. This sentiment of wanting to escape the bad weather is shared by the narrator or the poet, who likewise heads home to his warm house. In contrast to the spring birds, nobody is out of doors. There is nobody around at all. Even the flocks of rooks are flying home. And so, again, at one with nature, does the poet. This time, instead of there being lots of things to go outside and do, there are lots of things to avoid. This poem is characterized by its simplistic childlike rhythm. It is reinforced by repetition of lines such as "so do I," and that makes the poem more for children compared to Hardy's most serious poems. Although this seems and perhaps is a simple, straightforward poem, Hardy is tapping into a long tradition of poetry, welcoming the new spring from the Middle Ages onward. Poets have greeted the spring, sometimes in the poems known as reverie, the regreening of the world as the leaves burst forth in springtime. Here, Hardy's poem shows how a rainstorm can be reacted to differently based on weather. It is soft and hard. Soft or hard, rain is welcomed by all, while harder rain is dangerous and sends people and birds fleeing for shelter. It's in the winter. One of the themes of Hardy's poetry that it is hard to ignore is the weather and the countryside. And in this simplistic poem, Hardy revisits these themes by focusing on two different states of weather and how one is desired and loved by himself and others, and the other state of weather is disliked and shunned. The poem is a contrast built up from concrete details in mood and tone. The second stanza dwells on rain and storm. The first stanza depends on sun and the windless calms of summer. For its chestnut blossom, the young nightingale song, the citizens at their doors in the dreamy heat, the young girls flaunting in their flimsy dresses, and for the customers of the inn who sit on the benches outside. In the first stanza, people can relax and feel secure. In the second stanza, however, there is a significant absence of human beings, seemingly vanished from the landscape of our hostile world. Symbolically, the poet tries to state that the bright and dark aspects of human life, and the word weathers indicates the human life. Spring represents the bright and winter represents the dark aspects of our life. Thomas Hardy has generally pessimistic outlook on and general belief that nature is ultimately antipathetic to humanity. It can be detected in this poem, especially if one extends its implications towards offering a contrast between a universe that supports human life for a brief span and one that is ultimately anti-human. This outwardly simple poem, contrasting spring with autumn, consists of two stanzas that follow a very similar pattern, not only in terms of line length and rhyme scheme A B A B C C C C B, but the word used to begin such lines. The invitation to compare and contrast the subject matter of the two stanzas could hardly be given more insistently. It is worth noting that the contrast in word choices between the two stanzas. In the first, we have sounds and rhymes that are sharp, vivacious, and stimulating, like spikes, bass, rest, dressed, west. The sounds of the second stanza slowed, deadened, and ringing, hello, suns, dawns, throw, overflow, row, go. There is musicality in the poem with these different words in the rhyme, rhythm, and other patterns here. It is created through a rhythmic contrast. The first stanza generally uses iambic fit, meaning those that suddenly and unstressed beat following a stress beat, da da. Whereas the line in the second stanza, and he'll hit, tides throw, throw, and throw, has reflexed iambs with spondees by which is meant fit without right stress, da da. This together with the repeated sporadic sounds ha and tha seems it serves to make the words move slowly and laboriously, as though they are carrying the notion of infinitely weary, constantly repeated toil. Okay, that's the discussion with The Weathers by Thomas Hardy, and I'm sure you got the points. Thank you very much for your time and patience.